Hello and welcome to episode 166 of PhotoKitchen. I'm your humble host, MD Welch, and on this all-digital episode of PhotoKitchen, we're talking about the Retouch panel inside of Capture One. This is a new addition to Capture One, an update that they just released probably about a month ago. And I'm a little bit behind on my updates because I've been in the middle of a project. And by the way, if I have a big piece of advice for you, it is never update your applications in mid-project. It's guaranteed failure, or at least guaranteed headaches. So I had to wait to clear some projects, clear some items off the plate. Pun totally intended, since we are a PhotoKitchen operated episode. But nevertheless, the plates have been cleared and I could finally update the software. Now, I want to say when Capture One announced the retouching panel, I was not excited at all because I am an old school retoucher and I've been retouching since, wait for it, kids, the 90s. And I still do a lot of things by hand where there are a lot of automated features out there. And the reason why I do them by hand is because the automated features, for lack of a better word, look fake. The AI hasn't caught up yet, or has it? Capture One maybe has changed my opinion about this. Now, I do want to say that Lightroom Classic has also gone through some significant updates as well, and those updates are great. But I think that Capture One has definitely caught up to Adobe in a lot of ways. They had some ground to make up for sure, but they've definitely surpassed Adobe in certain areas. I'm not saying that one application is better than the other per se. I like both programs, despite what the comments might say from time to time. But I think in the case of retouching, Capture One is significantly better than Lightroom Classic at the time of this recording. Now, what am I talking about here? Well, I'm talking about the new retouching panel, and I have a photo already open, as you've probably been watching here as we've been locked on the screen, of my friend Kit, recent headshot that I did, and I do a lot of headshots. And headshot retouching can be a little bit tedious because you want people to look good without them looking fake. You want to make sure skin tones and everything is smooth. And a lot of this stuff I do in Adobe Photoshop. I use either Capture One or Lightroom Classic to get the image as good as possible, global editing. I rarely do any healing or retouching in these applications simply because the tools aren't very good and I have to do all of that work inside of Photoshop. But I think that has all changed with this very simple panel. So let's go ahead and zoom in here and take a look. Now, first of all, Kit's skin looks really good. There's some minor blemishes here. Everybody has these on everybody's faces. And there are some items that definitely need to be removed and maybe addressed. And most of it has to do with skin texture more than anything. These things you have to go in and fix, and they do take a bit of time. I do want to point out there's always a simple trick to this, both in Lightroom Classic and in Capture One. Let's collapse down some panels. The clarity panel inside of Capture One gives you both clarity and structure. You have texture, clarity, and dehaze inside of Lightroom Classic. Both of these allow you to pull some of that out. And indeed, I've done a -30 for clarity and a -10 of structure for Kit. And if we do a little before and after here, you could see that there's just a slight improvement. And especially with clarity, it has a tendency to smooth out maybe some high contrast areas. So maybe where the skin's a little bit shiny, or maybe where there's a little bit of a heavy shadow, it kind of evens that out. But you still have to usually go into a program like Photoshop to make further fixes. And I'm not saying that I'm not going to be jumping into Photoshop to make fixes after that, but more on that in a moment. Let's come into the retouching panel and take a look and see what these features now offer us in Capture One and why I'm so excited. So inside of here, you have retouching faces, and it will show you detected faces. I haven't done anything yet with multiple people in frame, but it will detect, I think, up to like 32 people according to Capture One. You have a little thumbnail here showing you the detected faces. You could check this box to show detected faces, and it will give you this box around it. But since we just have one person in the frame, it's pretty obvious who we've detected. The next slider is impact, and this is really an opacity slider. So at 100%, whatever you do with the rest of these controls, you're seeing all of those controls. So basically, you could dial everything up and then control the overall look with impact. So while it's the first slider, it's probably the last slider that you're going to work with. The next slider is blemishes, and we're going to zoom into 100% and take a look at the skin tone here. And again, there's just little things in the skin that we would fix inside of Adobe Photoshop, healing brush, remove tool, clone stamp, whatever tool of choice. And there are some flyaway hairs here, but we also have some blemishes, and we want to fix those. So let's come into the blemishes slider, and we're just going to take it all the way to 100%. And just take a moment to let this render. It might take a second or two on the first time. And you could see here that it does a really good job. Now, if we come up, and I want to say one thing, while I do like this feature inside of Capture One, Capture One's overall interface still needs work. I wish there was an eyeball here. I wish there was an easy way to do a before and after with just this panel without knowing keyboard shortcuts. But if you're in Capture One, come up to the reset icon here to reset the tool, hold down the Option key on Mac, Alt key on Windows. And when you click on this, it will basically give you a before and then an after of this tool. Dear Capture One, this is a bad interface design. Give us an eyeball. We know that you could do it. Just give us an eyeball so we could go ahead and control this. So this is with no blemish control. This is with full blemish control. And not only are the results pretty good, the results aren't fake looking. The skin doesn't go to plastic. We still see texture in the skin. We still see pores going on. This doesn't look like we've overlaid some weird surface blur like, you might see in programs like Photoshop or some AI tools here. This has a very nice result, and it's cranked all the way up. You could definitely reduce this down if you want to, but I'm going to leave it at 100 for the moment at full effect. Next are dark circles, and this is referring to dark circles under the eye, something that we're constantly editing inside of Photoshop. Now, this involves a little bit of trickery. Usually you're creating a brand new blank layer, you're retouching in that layer, and then you're reducing the opacity down. Let's just take up the dark circles all the way to 100%. And again, look at the difference here. We'll go back up to that reset arrow. We'll hold down our keyboard modifier. Here's a before. Here's an after. And look how improved, especially under the eyes, this looks. Now, if you think it looks a little heavy, you could go ahead and reduce that down a little bit. Let's go to 85. But again, at 100, it looks pretty good. Now, even skin allows you to even out the skin. We'll just take the amount again all the way up to 100. And again, we'll go up to that arrow, hold down the keyboard modifier. Here's our before, here's our after. And I do want to say that the skin is starting to get a little bit over processed looking. It's starting to look a little too much, but it's not something that's completely, totally out of control. Not to mention that you have the texture slider underneath, which you could take all the way up to 100 here, and you will bring back the original texture to the image. So whatever you've evened out, you could also bring the texture through here. And I'm sure this is going to be a balance on every image on getting the amount slider a certain way and the texture higher enough that you're not canceling one of the other out. But so far, this looks pretty good. Let's go to 60 on the texture. Contouring is an interesting concept here because contouring is actually going to dodge and burn the face. So let's come into contouring and just take contouring up all the way again. And I'm actually going to zoom out just a little bit. Let's go to say 50%. There we go. So here's contouring at 0. And then here's contouring cranked all the way up. And again, this is very nice because while it is definitely having an impact, it is subtle. It gets a little aggressive in the hair here, a little bit, but it's not so bad that you're like, oh, this is totally out of control. And again, you have the ability to go down. I've just gone all the way up with the sliders here just to show you the extremes. But if we look at the before and we look at the after, you could see that this has a noticeable improvement. And even though that we spent a little bit of time talking about this, this is several seconds of work inside of Capture One. Now, what's so appealing, at least to me, about this panel is this is saving me several minutes per image in retouching. The smoothing out of skin, the reducing of dark circles under the eyes, contouring of the face, doing a quick contour. All of this requires several minutes of work. And while a minute or two is not that big of a deal, if you're doing a lot of retouching like I normally do on a project, we're talking about probably an hour or two of total time being saved on a project because I am editing a lot of images here. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not going to have to run into Photoshop and fix some of these issues. It's not addressing flyaway hairs, which I would have to fix in Photoshop. It's not addressing the background here that has the softboxes in. Now, sure, I could grab the crop tool and let's just go ahead and crop that out. There's my headshot, there's my crop there. And aside from flyaway hairs and maybe a few other blemishes that didn't get fixed in Photoshop, this is pretty much done. But what's nice is I have an even better starting point for my images going into Photoshop than I did before. And I'm fixing a lot of problems that I would have to fix in Photoshop that would take longer to fix in Photoshop because of this panel. Now, what's the downside to this? Well, it's pretty straightforward. If for some reason you're in your workflow, the client comes back to you and says, oh, I don't like how my skin looks. It looks too smooth or the contouring's too high or something like that. The problem is once you leave Capture One and you go into Photoshop, and would be the same with Lightroom Classic, by the way, and you leave the one program and you go into the other, you've broken that link between them. So you can't come into here, make a change, and then go into Photoshop and have those fixes automatically update, especially if you're doing further retouching on the skin, because it's going to sample from those areas. So this could be a workflow issue on, yeah, maybe it takes you a little bit longer to do in Photoshop, but at least all of your retouching is isolated in one program, which, to be honest with you, is still something that I prefer to do. But this is very appealing. So let's hop over to Lightroom Classic. We're going to switch images here, and we've already done a little bit of work. Here's a before, here's an after. And we've also made some masks. We made some selections specifically of the face here. So we've already gone in, we used the mask tool here. We use the people feature, which is so powerful inside of Adobe Lightroom Classic, which will also select the different parts of the face, which is very nice. One thing that I will give Adobe over Capture One is I think that their selection tools, their AI selection tools, are better than Capture One. Not significantly better, but better. So we can come in and select all of these different parts of the face, which we've already done here. And we'll cancel this process and we'll just get rid of this new mask here. We'll just click on mask 2. There we go. And we've already done a little bit of work. We've come into the mask and we've come into effects here. We've lowered the texture and the clarity. And if we zoom in just a little bit here on this skin and then come in and turn this off, take note, Capture One, it's an eyeball. You click on it once, no keyboard modifier. So if you look at this, the clarity and the texture definitely help out the image. We have lost some of the texture issues. We've smoothed out the skin a little bit, but all of those blemishes still exist. While maybe the selection tools in Lightroom Classic are better than they are in Capture One, once you have that selection, once you have that mask, what you can do with that mask might not be as powerful or significant, especially if you're doing portrait retouching. Now let's hop back over to Capture One and let's go ahead and choose that exact same image. Now we took a little bit of a different direction in the editing here, but we have the image pretty much in a place of happiness. Now take note, there's a ton of flyaway hairs here. There's a ton of issues, but if we look at this from the retouching perspective, and again, we'll go ahead and let's just zoom in to say 50% and come into this area here. There we go. We're going to come in and let's just go ahead and crank up blemishes. We're going to leave dark circles alone because the makeup was trying to make the dark circles look that way. And first of all, while I was talking about dark circles, the blemish render finished, and take a look at how much better the skin looks. Now, this is an image that I've used in multiple demos before, and I could tell you, especially areas on the chin here and some of these other places, these are always areas that take a little bit of time to retouch because you're having to select quality skin. And this is a healing brush. The remove tool doesn't do nearly as good of a job, take my word for it. And so this image takes a little bit longer to retouch. It's the reason why I use it in a lot of my demos. Now let's even out the skin. Let's come into here and even out the skin a little bit, which we have to be careful about that because sometimes evening out the skin, Capture One might not understand, oh, this is makeup is having a heavier role to play here. We've definitely contoured things out, so maybe it's going to even things out a little bit too much. But that looks pretty good at 90, and we could bring up the texture a little bit. Let's go to 30 here. And then the contouring, especially with this image, this is where things get very interesting. Look at this contouring here, bringing it up to say about 70. And again, we'll use our keyboard shortcut because Capture One doesn't like eyeballs. We'll go ahead and click the before and after here and look at the difference. Right now in Lightroom Classic, do I have some more options for editing? Do I have some more options there? Yeah, it's debatable what options that I have that are better than Capture One. I'm not going to say that they're significantly better, but there are at least different options. Let's say that. But when it comes to retouching, a significant amount of this work, while it could be done in Lightroom Classic, and I do think Lightroom Classic's remove tool and healing brush are better than Capture One, I'm still going into Photoshop to fix a lot of these issues. And since I'm going to do that work in Photoshop, I'm probably going to do all of that work in Photoshop. But this image right here, I fixed most of the skin issues. I've done it much faster than I could do in Lightroom Classic, in Capture One, in Photoshop. Do I have to still deal with the flyaway hairs? Yes, and neither Capture One nor Lightroom do a great job with all of these flyaway hairs that need to be addressed. So I'm going to go into Photoshop for that. But I'm probably not going to have to do much work to the skin texture. Yeah, there's a few areas here that have some blemishes and some things that need to be fixed. But overall, this This right here, this is 5 minutes. I know because I've done the demo so much. This is 5 minutes of somebody knowing what they're doing of retouching gone. It's been removed. Now you could focus on some of those other areas, and now you have that 5 minutes. And it doesn't sound like a lot, but add that up over all of your retouching work. And I think we have a very compelling reason why Capture One might be the better tool for retouching when it comes to portraiture, at least at the time of this recording. Or at least that's how I'm going to approach it. How are you going to approach it? I'd love to hear your feedback in the comments below. Hopefully you've liked this video. If so, please hit like. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. And if you have, thank you for subscribing. And of course, share this with anybody who may be interested in getting more out of retouching. Maybe they're debating between Capture One and Lightroom or Lightroom Classic. This might be something that pushes them over to the edge. It's great to see Capture One do this. Hopefully Adobe rises to the occasion and fires another salvo back, and we see these companies make each other better. And until next time, I'm MD Welch, wishing you all the best from this very digital version of the Photo Kitchen.